everyone, it's Danny. Alrighty, so for today's Casual Sundays, we'll discuss about orchid personalities. Now, before we go into the subject, I want to take a few seconds to give a shout out. I would like to thank Giovanni, aka the Orchids Killer. You're not an orchid killer anymore, you know. C. Stewart and Joanne Song, who supported us on orchidnature.com the past week. Guys, thank you so much. You're awesome. It means a lot to me, really. And part of this actually will be put to some good use. I will make an order to Schwerter, well, when the DHL strike is over. And I'm actually gonna buy some orchids that, along the way, you guys have asked me about. You have some troubles with them. And sadly, I cannot help you out because I don't have them. And yeah, I never got the chance to buy them. So I made myself a list of the orchids most frequently asked about that I don't have, sadly, and I'm gonna buy them and we're gonna see what they're all about. So thank you guys so much, and hopefully I'll be able to give you some advice or show you some nice footage of these orchids that you are interested in. Alrighty, today we're gonna discuss about orchid personalities. Well, that's a bit of a metaphor, but what I mean is the ability of orchids who belong to the very same species to actually perform very different in the same environment and with the same care regime, let's say. So I have a few examples to show you to better understand what I mean. Now, you guys sometimes happen to have the same exact orchid that I have, or a parent of my orchid, or a related orchid, and you tell me it's rather performing really differently than what I have. And I always tell you, well, it's a genetic thing, and it doesn't really mean that two orchids from the same species will perform the same way. This is why hybrids were created, so they stabilize the gene and performance and so on. But especially with species, I discovered that they can actually be totally different, even if they're in the same species. So let's take, for example, the Siderias. As you might know, I do have two Siderias. Now, this one was actually in bloom. It was a beautiful orchid. You can see the video right here if you missed it and want to see how she looks like. Now, this one did not grow in the first year, and then it grew and it produced a beautiful flower spike, and now she's vegetatively growing. Everything is fine with her. My second Sedirea, however, has a totally different habit. I don't know if you can tell, but right here I have multiple plantlets. I have 1, 2, 3 keikis, and lately I discovered a nubbin growing on this one, and I was hoping it would be a flower spike, but no, it is yet another keiki. Now, I don't know why this particular one is prone to producing keikis and not flower spikes. I don't give it anything else than what this one receives. I'm starting to think I should cut back on high nitrogen fertilizer, although this one does not seem to be affected. But maybe the genetic, let's say, code of this one is to try to propagate itself through keikis rather than flower spikes. I don't know, they're the exact same species. Furthermore, I purchased them from the exact same store. So as far as I know, they can come from the very same parents because they are seedlings. So there you go, the very same orchid performing totally different. A second example is the Rhynchoritas Bangkok Sunset and Rhynchostylis Celestis Blue. Now, as you might know, this orchid is a cross between a Rhynchostylis and a Aridis. They look pretty similar in the sense that they both are tiny vanda orchids. They do not grow so large, or if they grow, they're going to be very old when they reach the size of my other vandas. So they should be quite similar. The problem is, this one blooms for me reliably. Every year, twice it blooms, and I'm really happy with it. They're pretty much at the same size. Now, this one, however, does not bloom. I've had this one for 1.5 years already, and I did not receive any bloom. Now, it might be that the Aridis orchids bloom easier than the Rhynchostylis orchids, but still, these guys are related, yet they perform totally different. They're receiving the exact same care, exact same temperatures and light quantity, and so on, and they're totally different. So when I say orchid personality, I actually mean the genetics of each individual, because each orchid is unique in its way. Even if you might have 5 orchids from the very same species, you might notice differences, appearance-wise and, let's say, behavior-wise. Some orchids are not prone to blooming, and that's that. And that's not your fault necessarily all the time. Other orchids are very prone to producing keikis. Others are prone to not do so well in a particular environment, while others seem to just flourish. Of course, it's not something very common, and for the main part, especially with hybrids, they will pretty much perform the same, but sometimes, especially with species and simple hybrids, you can have great behavior variation within the same species or hybrids, let's say. So if you happen to have some really bad luck with some orchids and you simply cannot explain it, you are not doing anything wrong and your environment should be suited, then maybe that particular individual is to blame and it's gene pool. So one thing you can try is actually getting another orchid of the very same type and see how that does. I do have quite a few messages from you guys who say that you have a specific orchid for 5 years now and you're providing everything it should like and still no blooms. And my advice to you is, well, invest in another individual. Maybe you just had a very bad luck with a bit of a faulty individual, which seems to be a bit fussy about its environment or simply is not prone to blooming. So let me know in the comments below if you've ever encountered something like this, or if you have a specific orchid which simply refuses to bloom for you no matter what you do. And of course, if you have other suggestions for topics, just leave me a comment down below and maybe we'll do a casual Sundays with your topic. So alrighty, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked this video, then please give it a like and share. If you want to watch more videos from me, just subscribe to my channel. I post daily. Also, leave me whatever questions related to orchids you have in the description below and I'll get back to you. If you click on the left side of your screen, you'll be directed to orchidnature.com where you will find care sheets, identification sheets, or you can even talk to us in the forums. And if you click on the right side of your screen, you can watch a video about a Phalaenopsis orchid. I'll see you next time. Bye!